The fill handle lets Excel do the repetitive tasks for you, such as continue dates, continue number series, or copy a formula down a long list. So, you do not need to type each cell manually, which wastes time and can create mistakes. The fill handle is the tiny square at the bottom right corner of the selected cell or range. When you point to it, the mouse pointer changes to a thin black plus sign. You can then drag down, cross up or left depending on what you selected. Excel can copy a value, continue a pattern, fill dates, or copy a formula. You will see how to copy the same value, continue number patterns, for example incremental by 1 or incremental by 5 or any gap of number, fill dates, weekdays and months, use autofill option, copy formulas by dragging, and fill a long formula column with a double click. We will also cover the mistakes that cause unexpected results and when flush fill is the better tool. Let's start with the simplest use, copying the same value. Type office supply in cell B2. Point to the fill handle, drag down to B6 and release. Excel repeats office supplies in every selected row. This is useful for repeated categories, departments, labels, or status values, and it helps prevent small typing difference. Now, let's continue a number pattern. On the series plus 1 sheet, type 1 in A2, 2 in A3. Select A2 through A3. Point to the fill handle for the selected range and drag down to A10. Excel continues the series, ending with 9 in A10. The two starting value matter. They show Excel that the numbers increase by 1. If you start with only one number, Excel may simply copy it. You can use the same idea for a different interval. On the series plus 5 sheet, type 5 in A2 and 10 in A3. Select both cells and drag down. Excel continues with 15, 20, 25 and so on. The difference between the starting values tells Excel how to continue the pattern. Excel also recognizes common time-based list. On the date sheet, type 1st Jan 2026 in B2. Select the cell and drag down to B8. Excel fills the following dates in order. Your displayed date format may look different because of your original settings, but Excel should still recognize entry as a date. On the weekdays sheet, type Thursday in A2 and drag down to A8. Excel continue with Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the following days. On the month sheet, type January in B1, select B1 and drag the fill handle to the right through M1. Excel continues through February, March, and the remaining months until December. This is useful for budgets, sales summaries, schedules, and yearly trackers. After dragging, Excel may display an autofill option button near the field range. Use this button when the result is not what you expected. Copy cells repeats the original value. Fill series continues numbers, dates, months, or weekdays. Fill formatting only copies the cell style without the value. Fill without formatting fills the values without carrying the original design into the destination cells. For example, if Excel copies one down a column when you wanted a sequence, click Autofill option and choose Fill Series. Next, let's copy a formula. On the formula sheet, column B contains price, column C contains quantities, and column D will contain totals. Click D2, type equal B2 times C2 and press enter. Select D2 again and drag the fill handle down through the remaining product rows. Excel copies the formula and adjusts it for each row. The formula in D3 becomes equal B3 times C3. In D4 becomes equal B4 times C4. These are a relative cell reference, which means they normally changes as the formula is copied. Always select one or two filled cells and check the formula bar to confirm that the reference changed correctly. For a long list, you may not need to drag. Select D2, which contains the formula B2 times C2, and double-click when the pointer becomes the thin black plus sign. Excel fills the formula down to match the nearby data. This is faster when you have many rows and a complete adjacent list. Double-clicking depends on the nearby data. If the adjacent column contains a blank cell or a blank row, like in this example, row 6 is blank, Excel may stop early. In the example, the fill handle stopped in D5 because row 6 is blank. When that happens, check the surrounding list and fill the remaining cell manually if need. Here are the main mistakes to avoid. First, wait for the thin black plus sign so you do not move cell by accident. Second, use at least 2 starting numbers when you want a number series. One number normally fill handle show copy. Third, check autofill options whenever Excel shows copy instead of continuing or continuing instead of copying. Finally, use fill without formatting if the destination design changes accidentally. By default, Excel automatically enables the fill handle, but if you do not see the fill handle, like in this example, when we move to the bottom right corner of each selected cell, we do not see the Sin plus button. This means that the fill handle is disabled. To enable it, go to File, select Option, in Excel option window, click Advanced in the left panel. Then, in Editing option, select Enable Fill Handle and Cell Drag and Drop. Then click OK. Fill handle is enabled so you can use it. For short visible ranges, dragging gives you direct control over exactly how far the fill goes. For long formula column beside complete data, double-clicking can be quicker. Autofill option does not replace either action. It can change or correct the result afterward. All of these workflows use the same small fill handle, but the outcome depends on the starting data and selection. To practice, open the practice sheet. Enter Monday in A2 and fill down to A8. Enter 1 in B2 and fill down to B8. Click autofill option and choose fill series. In D2, enter equals C2 times 2 and press enter. Double click on the fill handle. Check the weekdays continued. The number increased by 1 and each formula used the matching row. The key idea is simple. Select the right starting value or pattern. Then move the mouse to the bottom right corner of the selected cell. Wait for the thin black plus sign, which is called the fill handle, and then drag or double click. Use autofill options when Excel first result need to change. With that habit, you can build lists, schedules, budgets, and sales sheets much faster. Continue improving your Excel data skills with the Working with Data in Excel playlist, or watch the next recommended tutorial. Subscribe to XcelTips for more simple, practical Excel lessons.